What's up, guys? Rip Tripper's back at you today, or tonight. Tonight I'm going to show you guys how to wrap a Nano micro coil in your Protank 2 using 28 gauge Kanthal. I've got my 28 gauge Kanthal, I've got my 20 gauge syringe needle, and all I'm going to do with the 28 gauge Kanthal is I'm going to do 12 wraps. Just going to clip the excess. So this is what we have so far, and all I'm going to do is push this down and scrunch these coils together just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the coils off, take my tweezers, put the coil in between the tweezers like that, and then I'm going to pinch it. Make sure that they're nice and even, just like that. And then all I'm going to do is blowtorch it. For a good 10 seconds. Okay? After it cools off, I'm going to place it back on the syringe needle. You want to make sure that the outside coils are not overlapping. Okay, just like that right there. Want to make sure those coils are going in both the same direction. I'm going to unscrew the Protank head from the Protank base, and then I'm going to disassemble this Protank head. First, you take the stem off. You want to take this metal pin out. Okay, just like that. Then you want to take this rubber insulator out. Okay, just like that. And then your previous coil should come right out. I'm going to take the coil that's on the 20 gauge syringe needle and I'm going to place it in the cup, and as you can see there's two grooves. Okay. And the beauty of using the 20 gauge syringe needle, it fits between those slots perfectly. So it makes building the Nano microcoil easier than building a regular microcoil. Now that I've got the ends through, and I'm going to put one of the strands through the rubber insulator, and then one of the other coil ends is going to be on the outside. That way the coil ends are isolated from each other. And as you can see, both of those coil ends are isolated from each other. Next step, we're going to take this pin. We're going to place the pin inside that rubber insulator. Okay, and as you can see, those coil ends are completely isolated from each other. One's coming out the center of the rubber grommet, the other one's coming out the side. The coil is completely stabilized by the 20 gauge syringe needle. All I'm going to do, put a little tension on each wire to break it off. Okay, same thing with the other. And boom, there's your nano coil using the 28 gauge Kanthal. Pull this 20 gauge syringe needle out. Then I'm going to slide this piece of cotton inside that nano coil, just like that. Just a few strands hanging on each end. I'll take another very small piece of cotton and I'll place it over the coil. Okay? I'm going to screw just the coil head without the stem inside the coil base. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push just the ends of the cotton inside the cup. Next step, I'm just going to saturate the coil and that excess piece of cotton. Okay, so before, in my earlier videos on showing you guys how to build micro coils or how to build coils in a Protank, the reason why I didn't dry burn to make sure the coils glow is because I did not want to melt that rubber insulator, and a lot of people are having issues burning and melting the rubber insulator, causing their coils to short out because it's burning through the rubber insulator and it's giving them a bad taste, because once that rubber insulator is burned, I've noticed it, you get a burnt taste, a slightly burnt taste over time, which is no good. You really do not have to worry about dry burning it. And if you're going to use stainless steel mesh, then you may want to use non-resistance wire. So, but in this case we're using cotton, so I just make sure that the cotton is completely saturated. And then what I'll do is I'll screw it onto the 510 connection, and then we're going to test the resistance on this device. It's a 1.1 ohm nano coil at 14.5 watts. We're going to fill this bad boy up. Don't forget to put your stem on there over the coil head. Make sure that it still fires, and you can hear that. So, alright, so at the beginning of the video, I had the exact same coil in a Protank version 2, 1.1 ohm coil. I just wrapped earlier today, been vaping on it for a few hours. I decided to do a new wrap on video. You guys just saw it for the Protank 1. I like to carry both these devices around. Alright, haven't even vaped on it yet. Take a few primer puffs, get the bubbles up. Alright. Again, 14.5 watts. Ho, that's the first damn hit. No break-in, full-on flavor. Vapor, you saw it. Oh man. Oh man, oh man. Whoa Nelly! So that's 14.5 watts, 1.1 ohm coil. I'm gonna take it up. Let's take it up to 16. I find that on the DNA 20, my preferred is between 16 and 18.5. If I'm running a 1.4 to 1.8 ohm micro coil, I really like to run it at 18.5 watts. If I'm running like a 1.1 ohm nano coil, which is different, totally different than a 1.4 to 1.8 ohm micro coil. I get more heat off of the nano coil. I usually like to run it between 1.1 ohms and 1.3 ohms, especially on a Protank. You really can't run any higher than that, because if you do, the coil ends up being too long and you end up shorting it out with that stem, pressing the stem down. So a nano coil wrapped with 28 gauge, 1.1 ohms is perfect for a Protank. 16 watts. I mean, look at the vapor production. That's 16 damn watts on a Protank. Just to test it, 18 watts, 1.1 ohm coil on a Protank. Okay, a lot of people say 9 to 10 watts, 12 watts max, 18 watts. Oh, that's a warm vape, but the flavors is killing, man. It's killer flavor. I'm gonna chain vape. Not a burnt hit. Not one burnt hit. And I just chain vaped it, what was that, 4 or 5 times? That's crazy! That's how to build a nano coil using 28 gauge on your Protank. Again, guys, it's different than a micro coil. What really got me inspired to do the nano coil, I mean, these things have been around, guys. I'm not the first guy to do these nano coils. I mean, the disposable atomizers that have been around for years have those nano coils in them. That's what's in those disposable atomizers. You take one of those bad boys apart, and you'll see that. You'll see that they're tiny, just like the coil that's in here. Okay. And you know, that's why with the disposable atomizers, people are still swearing by those things. I mean, I got some buddies that they don't touch a rebuildable. I mean, they swear by their HH357, and those things have those really tiny, compact nanocoils in there, and they produce hellacious flavor. That's what I'm getting in this, is the hellacious flavor. It's a dense flavor. It's a warm, it's a medium warm to hot flavor depending on the wattage that I'm vaping on, and yeah, so it's killer. And you know what? With this device, if you can see this, I've been vaping on this Phase Box mod for the past 4 days without charging it. Okay, that's like I've been vaping it for about 20, 22 hours, 23 hours straight. Okay, with either a micro coil or a nano coil. I mean, some people are saying that they kill the battery life. Not with this bad boy. Not with the FZ20D. So yeah, that's the nano coil for you. Take one more hit, we'll wrap it up. This is Rip Trippers. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment below. And remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.